This is the Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom. So originally I had recorded just a video at the beginning of the game, but then I actually sat here and played through the entirety of it, and yeah, I actually did kind of enjoy it. So we're here on Series X, 4K resolution, 60 FPS, and it's kind of a neat title. So I just wanted to quickly show this off since we're over here. It's kind of an open world game, but then you have like these base setups where you have to defend a treehouse occasionally. You have different equipment that you can find and level up and improve, such as weapons and stuff, and you get points while you play through quests and whatnot, and you can improve your armors. Pretty neat. And there's also the treehouse turret defenses for when you do like the wave defense thing. It's just like a silly quick little mode. So keep in mind, you know, that this is based on a like Netflix original series, which is based on a book, and it's just kind of like this cool sort of universe where all the adults have basically turned into zombies. There's actually, most people have become zombies. There's like this group of 4 kids, and you know, this has got 4-player local co-op, no online co-op, you know, nothing like that. It's just local action. And you're able to basically switch between the different characters. The worm is for fast traveling. I was thinking there might be a booth nearby. We'll try to find a booth. But you switch between the different characters, and you know, well, you could choose to, right? So if you have 4 people playing together, everyone can be like a character, right? But you can at any time when you find a booth be like, okay, I want to play as this character, I want to play as this character, and you continuously level up your characters and whatnot in order to, you know, kind of improve them and get access to better stuff, and you get better equipment, everything like that. It's actually, again, kind of a neat experience. And this is like the open world segment where you're going from like place to place. There's a lot of different maps that are present. This is just a map of the local area, but we're going here to go and do a side mission so that we can, you know, kind of mix up the action and show it off a bit gameplay wise, because we have finished the story at this current point in time. So we've got Jack Sullivan, which is kind of like the main character, and then we've got Quint, the smart scientist, and his best buddy. We've got June, which is kind of a little bit of his love interest, and then we've got Dirk, who's a bit of a big tough guy that you interact with as a group and stuff like that, and he kind of comes into the fold. At first it's Jack, and it's very video game-esque, the universe itself. So if you come in here and you don't know what the show is, you know, it's again, I mentioned everything it's based off of, but it's got very much game influence. He's like, oh, I completed this achievement or something like that. That's a lot of stuff that is referenced here. And it's like one of the Wolfhard siblings is the one. I actually interviewed the lead character here that plays Jack on the channel. There's a video of me interviewing the guy and talking about the show. So if you're interested in that, you might find it to be kind of neat. But yeah, it's kind of just like this show that I certainly enjoyed and found to be fun. And then, you know, seeing it come kind of full circle almost and become a game is, you know, rather interesting. I do think it actually is quite an enjoyable experience. It's got a decent amount of length to it. Again, you know, it's a bit of a smaller effort, but you still get quite a few hours of gameplay. And then you can go back and you can do like side missions. And then there's like little hidden collectibles you can gather, and there's things you can kind of, again, level up, and you can find stuff and do different battles. There's lots of different boss fights you do, and while nothing is too difficult, there is an edge of like difficulty to it as well. And then you've got a bunch of different like little abilities, and everyone's got different things. You got Pizza for health. Let's see, she throws these discs. I picked her as a bit of a primary character because this is like a bit of a hack and slash. It should almost be a twin stick shooter in my opinion, but you know it is basically a hack and slash. So when you play this type of game and you've got a character that can shoot at a distance, it's a huge advantage. So it's her and Quint. Yeah, her and Quint are kind of the shooter ones, but she seems to have a bit of a better lock on. It's a little bit awkward when you're like moving away from a character and trying to shoot at them, and that's where I was like, this would almost be better as a twin stick in my opinion. Gameplay wise, I think that would fit better. But a lot of different locations, and I'll try to show up a map off once we get to a right spot to kind of go over that. But there are a lot of different spots inspired by different like seasons of the show and stuff, which is neat. So you can see the map here, all these different bosses that you battle, these different areas you can go to, different districts. There's actually quite a lot, you know, going on here. And then again, it's like, it's not only just like main missions, there's like actually like side quests you can do. Just keep in mind, it's not anything too insanely in-depth, but you know, there is actually a lot of content to this. They actually did, you know, create a lot of different things for you to do. It feels like there's a good amount of content here, you know, within the campaign or even outside the campaign as you like level up your character, as you do different battles. It's, you know, there's actually a fair bit going on in this game. It's kind of, to me, a little bit impressive. And I did have fun. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. You know, with these types of games, like, I do actually miss the day back in the day when we used to get, you know, games as, well, games that were basically like, you know, movies or TV shows, a game format. Because every once in a while, you'd get a game that was really, really good and expanded a movie, expanded a show, did some fun things with it. And I feel like we, you know, we kind of almost don't get that at all anymore. And it's like this company here, the publisher, they're kind of the only ones that are doing these based on shows, based on movie kind of things. And I think that's, again, almost a little bit disappointing that we don't keep getting. I think I'm just like grabbing a bunch of quests here. Still we'll have a lot of stuff when we go out to do things. But yeah, you just kind of battle these monsters. There's like bestiaries. There's all kinds of things you're sort of like, you know, doing and whatnot. And there's all these different like things you can find, different bosses. There's different collectibles to get. They just again, they offer like a lot of stuff for you to go and do. A lot of different missions for you to have. There's narrative. There's dialogue. There's challenges. It all runs pretty well and fast on the Series X, which is nice. I just had a really great time actually playing through it. I was like, this is fun, this is enjoyable, it's easy going. There might be a little bit of a difficulty edge. You know, none of the bosses were too hardcore, but I could see one or two where some of the younger audience, because again, you know, this is focused on the younger audience, right? You know, I can see with the younger audience might have, you know, a little bit of trouble, have to do a couple times on some of the bosses, but I think for the most part anyone can jump in here, all ages. And, you know, battle and not have too many problems and have a good time with it. And, you know, if you've watched the show or maybe seen the books, I think the aesthetic of this game kind of matches that perfectly. You know, it all plays fairly fluidly well, which is nice. Again, different enemies you have to face off against. It's not too repetitive, like, and you might notice that, like, the enemies, they're basically being liquefied. That, again, is because I've leveled up, you know, my weapons and my tools so that I'm deadlier. So it does look easier than it would be right off the bat. Again, mostly because I've improved the skills in my character to the degree that I'm able to, you know, sort of dominate out there. So there is quite a bit going on, and the world is decently detailed, and I think they did a pretty good job on this one. Like I said, I was like, huh. I didn't anticipate this. I was like, okay, this is nice and unexpected. It's different, it's kind of quirky and fun. I didn't run into any problems. The whole game and the experience all ran fine. It looked good. There was different variety to what I was doing. There is a little bit of repetition within that as well. But you know what? I have to say, I was like, okay. It's fun. You know, it's not something I'm having issues with. It's something that is just kind of enjoyable. Am I not supposed to talk to someone? Oh, we should probably show off a different character. So we'll switch over to Jack. So he does like you know, he's got like his hack and slash thing. He throws like a boomerang, and then we've got, you know, Quint here. He's got like a cannon thing, and then we've got Dirk. He's like a big hockey type character. I thought we were supposed to drop off. Are we supposed to find more missing tools? That might be the thing. Here, giant monster thing. Let's go. Town square. No, there is something here in the town square that I'm supposed to drop off. That's Bear. That's Chef. So that's actually, Chef is voiced by Bruce Campbell. There's a great cast here. It's got I think there's a Keith David and stuff's in here too. It's a varied group of individuals, which is quite cool. You know, they've got all kinds of really great talent doing the voice work. And it was just yeah, it's something I've really enjoyed. You can upgrade Big Mama's points. Oh yeah, let's do it. So there's lots of tutorials too right off the bat that can really help you out, and I think that's great, you know, again for the younger audience. I didn't find it too annoying. There we go, I got an achievement off of that. Nice, rev it up. I'm trying to get all the achievements I can too, because I'm having fun with that one. So now we got more missions to do, all kinds of different stuff. Let's see, so this is one for the cargo lot. And we'll show off a little bit of a different area. I also want to do a little bit of a late game area too, because we still got, you know, showcase time here. But I just want to get across that it runs well. you know, if you know someone, maybe a younger one that likes the show, maybe you enjoy the show, which is totally cool too, because I actually like the show myself. I think it's pretty fun and enjoyable. Oh yeah, Big Momo's looking great. And it really does come alive here in an interactive format, and I think it's just got like a neat balance of gameplay. Because again, I came in with like really minimal expectations, but I was like, okay. By the end of it, I was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty fine. It runs well. It looks good. I don't really have too many complaints. I think they hit the mark on this. I'd like to maybe see them do more with it. I'm definitely assuming we're not going to see any DLC or anything. But if they did like another follow-up game, I would definitely be down and excited for that. I think that would be really, really cool. I'd certainly find it intriguing. You know, with a good balance of gameplay and whatnot here, they've certainly got something that we can have fun with. And that to me is the big part. Oh, and there's like I kind of want to find a big group of enemies for it, but you can do like a big summon thing, and then you've got like a monster will come out and help you. I guess I should also talk about the lore a bit too. So like, you know, essentially like I mentioned, you know, the adults and stuff are kind of like zombies. The kids are trying to survive, but there's also these monsters. There's this combination of like monsters thrown into the world. I'd almost equate it to, and I think I was like watching the show, I'm like, oh, it's like Fortnite, you know, kind of the show or something almost. And I think that is still a bit of a fair comparison that I could make there, is that it definitely has that kind of like vibe going on almost. And that's not like a bad thing. I do actually think this one, you know, does a pretty good job of having some fun with things. It's kind of funny, and there's full like almost like animation sequences in this one, if that makes sense. Like there's, you know, there's these kind of little quick, brief little narrative bits, but then there's also segments where, you know, there's like actually like pop up on the screen like story stuff going on. So they've got a variety here of different things. And you're on a quest to do like stop Malondre, a powerful adversary, and it's got like some RPG stuff going on in this post-apocalyptic town of Wakefield. They handle it well. I believe the cast is also doing the voice work on this to a degree too, for the characters that have voice stuff. At least that's what I recall from talking to, like when I did that interview, right? So, yeah, it was just kind of neat. Clear that zone. Yeah, again, like having those characters come in here and really make it feel connected to the show, I think is kind of cool. So that's the food district. That's the pier. I guess the food, that area is going to be different, the 2.1, because this is like a docks, and this is like an amusement park, which is really cool, and this is like the regular Wakefield area, and this is like the mall area. So if you have watched the show, like even some of the bosses and stuff, definitely like, you know, from the show and that familiar, even like, you know, the giant worm, all the monsters in the camp, because they're like a society of like good monsters that are all in the camp, and you know, then there's like some bad monsters and stuff, and some creepier things from beyond, and they got a whole lot going on in this show, which is really quite neat. And I think the game emulates that quite well. And why am I so low on health? And that was something I was actually surprised about, because it's so, again, extremely hit or miss on this kind of stuff, right? And you see these like games getting adapted like this, you're kind of like, oh, how's it going to turn out and stuff, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know. But I think for this one, they definitely had fun with it. I think for this one, they did some unique things. I think they hit the mark. I think they made something strangely enjoyable. Seriously, like I was just like, oh, this is just a fun time. It wasn't anything too insane. Like I sat there, I worked through it. I was like, this is cool. I like what they've done here. I kind of maybe even want to see more, but you know, runtime wise, I think you get, you know, a number of hours. I want to say a few hours, at least, you know, a few hours of gameplay as you work through it just for that initial story. And then if you want to keep coming back and, you know, doing some other stuff, there's lots of like little achievements, like I mentioned, to work towards. So there is a lot more to this than just what initially meets the eye. And like you've been seeing, it's all running fine. It's fluidly going. And I think I'm just kind of happy with it, and something where I'm like, oh, cool, and a nice little easy recommend on this one. Because it wasn't, I just anticipated doing the first, you know, 20 minutes or so and just being like, okay, here's just some gameplay of it in action. But now I'm kind of like, oh, cool, yeah, kind of like it. guy needs help. He constantly needs help. It's like, do this mission, do that mission. Find the robot head? What am I making, a giant robot monster? But that was just like one of the big characters, you know? Like there's actually like, you know, all these different like boss fight things you can do. Does he keep giving me new challenge, new missions or something? Or am I like out of mission spots? Defend the pier, clear the area, find all. Yeah, I think that's the problem, is I can't take more missions. Because there's like achievements for clearing all the zones, which are hard to do if I've got yeah, I've got all these extra missions kind of like locked up. Wakefield shopping. Let's go to the pier area just so we can show off into a little bit of a different section. But I hope you've been getting an idea of what this is like, and then, you know, going to customize your characters with those different weapons and those different armor things from what you find in the world. I think that aspect's kind of neat too, because it just allows, again, some light RPG mechanics, but enough that you know, will keep things fresh for you to the degree that you'll be like, okay, I'm enjoying this. Like, I'm almost 19. I'm so close to getting these achievements here, right? I'm kind of like, oh, it's a weird thing that kind of just keeps me intrigued by it almost. Others, you'll be like, okay, I finish it and I go on and stuff. But no, it's neat, right? Like, I am genuinely impressed and surprised by what they put together here. It was like, oh, did not see that coming. So I don't really have more details to go over, but we're going to continue showing off some more gameplay and doing some of these side quests if you want to see a little bit more of this thing rolling. And like I said, it's so much easier to do now because everything I've done is like, you know, I'm so leveled up, I'm so overpowered, I've basically like, you know, kind of mastered things on this one. It's kind of a bit of a breeze, but you know, you do have to level up a bit, and some enemies can take some extra hits, but I think it scales well and really easily for, again, all audience types to kind of come in here and have fun with it, you know, not feel like it's too hardcore of an experience. Definitely get some enjoyment, do some different, like, ability fights, and if you could get some local co-op coming in, that's kind of cool too. I tested that out a bit because there's an achievement for playing or reviving a co-op partner, so I was like, oh, I want to give this a whirl, see what it's like, so I did some co-op things too. Definitely kind of neat. Where is this last enemy that I am trying to fight? Oh, there you are. Why can't I not hit you? You weird monster thing. What?
That's it, Skaelka! Slice those monsters!
I think it might be glitched, as I've been talking about this so fondly. Huh. And then I literally can't leave the zone. That's ironic. Do I have like another gun I can use?
No, no.
Look at the little different armors. It's kind of funny. Okay, I need to exit this thing. Okay, there we go. There we go, now it worked. Does that sometimes. Alright, let's see that next quest. Well, it doesn't do that sometimes. That's actually the first time I've seen that, but yeah, that's kind of funny. Let's see if we can go battle here. At least it worked. Oh geez, I wasn't aware that I was getting wrapped into one of these big Momo challenge things. Yeah, you basically just have to collect these items. It's not too hard to do. There's quite a few of them. It's just like something extra you can do in the game, right? If you want to. You don't have to get roped into them. They're just like a fun, additional, extra thing. That's the cool thing, right, for these games. It's like it's not just doing the story. There's a little bit extra to it, a little bit more value. And I think that is a cool thing, you know. I definitely appreciate for those that do care that they can have some extra gameplay experiences and enjoy it. Is that the door I'm opening, or am I supposed to be opening this door over here? Yeah, actually, you know what? I got basically killed by the zombies while I was trying to open that door in that cutscene. Unbelievable. This is like a very convoluted thing of opening doors, but cool game. It can be enjoyable. I do suggest it. I do think you'll find it interesting. And it's The Last Kids on Earth. And watch the show too if you've never seen it. Like, the Netflix show is actually pretty cool. It's a fun Netflix original.
Give me a hand,
I think you'll find it to be humorous and kind of cool in concept. I think they hit the mark on this one, at least for me, gameplay-wise and concept-wise for the whole universe. It's kind of a neat design and development.